Welcome. See, okay? Here, okay? We all good today? All right. Amy Seukeran, Narcissistic Abuse Recovery Life Coach, Canada. Here, let me type in the title first. Narcissistic Mothers and the Children of Narcissists. That's the title. I'm going to put on my look into the camera glasses. Is that it? Are they shame and guilt for watching this video? Okay. No, my mother's going to be upset if I don't look pretty. We can't start the video by lying. I see my eyes and I think they got bigger, so I'm just going to take them back off. No, I'm not going to mute everyone and talk to myself. I'm just going to put people in timeout who are ignorant, and I can't because I'm focusing on narcissistic mothers. And since I got text messages from, I have no idea, let's hope, right? We're going through the building unit by unit. Did you recognize which one is you now? I have to remind you again. No, I don't have to remind you again. Apartment 47, remember? Everybody's joining in Malton today. 7555 Gorway Drive, apartment 47. This is the apartment I live in, this one. This one, right here that I'm in right now. Right? Every single day. They pay good money for rent, do they? Real good money for rent. They pay. Maybe it's building 2. Is that you? Oh, it went away. Where do you think you're going to come back? And what door? You don't know where my window is? When I come to the front entrance, make sure, right? If I take a picture of you, you deny it. It's not you. Two police calls, right? I'm recording their children. They have a different lease. They pay different money. I sit on the rock to smoke, right? They're doing what under my window here? I told everybody in Malton to join in, right? One by one. Every number. Now they want. Now they want. What do they want now? You see a joke somewhere? You live here? I am fed up. I told you. I am reporting every single unit from the door, the corner, right? How many times? From the corner. Every single one under me. Yeah, let me hear you what? Since January 31st, 2024. Let me hear again. You what? Every single tenant. Go ahead. This is all on record now. I told everybody in Malton to join in. Let me hear. When you rent an apartment, what you would do. All the police. Yeah, landlord, tenant board, everybody. Human trafficking, all the services. Every single one of you. Look at me again. Amy Seukeran, nonprofit organization CEO, narcissistic abuse recovery life coach, apartment 47. Show me again the video with your children. Show me which unit you live in now. For everybody in Malton to know. This is about narcissistic mothers, right? The actual parents who have no feelings, who are abusers to their children. We're going to go over the Malton moms in a minute. I started the business in 2019. Remember that? Where did you hear the word narcissist? How do you know what a narcissistic mother is? What were you doing? Right. Welcome to reality now. The date is October 18th, 2025. Well, happy birthday to my sister. I'll calculate her age after, but October 18th. Do I pay my own phone bill? There was a guy in the dumpster this morning at the apartment. Malton wants to talk to me. Let me watch it again and show me. I want to hear his name, where he lives. Yeah, the guy in the camouflage in the video. Everybody in Malton now, I want his name. You want to come to where I live? Welcome. Dollar for dollar, right? You're in the dumpster doing what? I can't go drop my garbage in recycling? Welcome. You what? You have to tell me your name when I see your face now. Oh, I have enough empathy. All of you in this building, you're going to show me if you're homeless or a drug addict and what you're doing here. All of your children. 2 false calls you made. I have no empathy for anybody in this building. That is done. Now we're going to go back to 2019 in the Malton Moms group. Say the word narcissist. Cold, heartless people who have no feelings. Why is the school teaching empathy, Malton? Because? Because what? You're going to go over the Malton Moms, the school board, Malton Neighborhood Services, all the schools in Malton. You have been calling the word narcissist for 6 years. Now we're going to separate. I'm going to separate narcissistic mothers, right? Why are you texting my phone? Why did you call the police and say I'm video recording your kids? You are the parents, right? So again, welcome. It's me you're talking to. Do you want me to spell the word narcissist so you can look it up? NPD, narcissistic personality disorder. Do you remember fame, power, money, putting on a good show? Sound like your mother? Sound like the women here? What they've been doing for 6 years? Who gives me money for reefer? ODSP, remember I have a prescription, lifelong nausea from PTSD and CPTSD and anxiety. Yeah, narcissistic mother and a narcissistic family. I'm so glad you asked, and I'm so glad I could answer. Now, how about 2019? Let's go over mental health now. You guys had PTSD, and who diagnosed you? Canadian Mental Health Association? Okay, what was it? A clinician? A psychiatrist? A psychologist? Who diagnosed your PTSD? A counselor? 2019, from 2019, whenever you had Canadian Mental Health Association. Tell me how you got in contact with them and who you talked to and how you got diagnosed now. How you got prescriptions for medical Mary Jane. All of Peel region, right? Toronto, where do you want to start? We're going to go over all prescriptions. Opioids, right? Prescriptions, all. ODSP pays for lots of disabilities, right? Wheelchairs, scooters, that's all ODSP. Your medications, who do you think pays for those if you're on ODSP? You go for your housing subsidy, who do you think pays for that? Not the government? The same as ODSP and Ontario Works, the government? The food banks, Mississauga food banks, that's the government too, right? Mississauga, City of Mississauga. So where do you guys all get it from? What about the school? Isn't that Peel Region? Peel School Board? Who do they ask for money? Where do they get their funding? I want to hear how they work for the City of Mississauga, those construction workers. Who build all the houses for the homeless? Okay, so back to what we know about narcissistic parents. They have control, right? They need you to be extensions of them, little versions of them. They like you to put on a good show for them. Don't make them look bad. Do what they say, not what they do. Wait, do you understand why I'm poor? It's because Malton took my business to go make money off of it. Do you understand the financial abuse Malton did? That's why, because that's the Malton moms. That's why I'm poor, because they took the money. So is that theft and robbery? We went over that, right? Are they the gang? Let's go over all of them. Malton Black Development Association, Malton Women's Council, the Muslim Council of Peel when it existed, Malton Neighborhood Services, City of Mississauga, Peel Region, Malton Moms. Which one? Are they the gang? Then how did this happen to me? Since I'm poor and I started the business in 2019 and everybody knows the word narcissist because it's a trend for 6 years. Explain it to me then. I'd love to hear this. Well, I'm not going to untrain their children for free, right? I'm not going to put up with abuse either. So that's where we are right now as of 3:15 p.m. in Malton, October 18th, 2025. Yeah, we're going to talk about the youth hub and how they got the money for it. A safe space, right, for your kids. We're going to talk about the library, why it wasn't a safe space for your kids, what year. We can talk about the high schools, 2 high schools, right? The Malton moms, they stepped down from what high schools? Ascension, right? That's what she said. And which school? So those are Catholic schools? So when they stepped down, how did they become owners of Malton, speaking for everybody? You went over systemic racism, systemic violence. All of that had nothing to do with me. Well, let's go back to 2019, 2018, 2017, whatever year you want. 2018, let's start there. Because 2019, World Narcissistic Abuse Awareness Day, apparently the whole world jumped in, right? So we can't be sure when the Malton moms or Malton took over. So were you in the group in 2018, Malton Moms group on Facebook or anywhere else? Well, we went over Instagram. We're not counting Instagram. We're counting 2018. Were you in the Malton Moms group in 2018? Do you remember how many people were in the group? Yeah, for months I've been going over, right? They went from 500 to 800. So how are they going to take responsibility for anything? A group of 800 women, mothers. We're here talking about narcissistic mothers and what you did for 6 years. So were any of you in the group in 2018? Do you remember how big the group was? How many people it had? Was it closed? Was it private? Or was it an open group? It was open then, right? So when did they close the group? When did they make it private, if anybody remembers? What year? Why did they have to make it a private group? Well, understand, I was homeless for 6 years. I wasn't living in Malton, right? July 15th, 2019. That was the first time. I ended up in Cawthra Shelter. Then I went to jail, right? I spent the night in jail. So I couldn't come back to Malton. A 6-month diversion program with Canadian Mental Health. Court every month from Cawthra Shelter while I worked at Dollar Tree on Dundas. And you're here in 2025. So, back to, where my money went. Since you said they won. Amy, are you schizophrenic? I already told you. You're going to find, Malton is going to find somebody today. You're going to go back every single day and you show me who diagnoses schizophrenia now. You're going to enjoy this. You want to make who responsible? Go ahead. How many times? In Malton. Yep. That was 3420 Morningstar Drive, right? 3425. A wellness check. Go ahead. Let me hear. When did Canada start using the word wellness check? You put me in the hospital in September of that same year, right? After the incident at 3425 Morningstar Drive. Do you understand that? I was on Netherwood down the street. A 72-hour evaluation turned into 15 days because what? Do you understand? The doctor told me it's because of what the police report said. The police report said there were cigarette butts in the outlet and old food laying around. Do you want to go over this again? Cigarette butts in the outlet? Those were police officers. That was the doctor in the hospital that told me that. Based on what the police wrote, they had to keep me for 15 days. You want to talk to me about what? Do you want to talk about how many times he tried to get a hold of my mother when I was in the hospital? How he gave up and told me to go home? We can go over that one. I've been to the hospital 3 times, the psychiatric ward. Explain to me, if you go there for a psychiatric evaluation, why I needed 3. Isn't the whole point of an evaluation to decide if there's something wrong with you? So why would you need 3 evaluations? That's the same hospital in Etobicoke, right? So go ahead, Malton, let me know what you're talking about as of today. You want to play what? Let's take a quick survey. How old are you right now? What school did you go to? Elementary school. In Malton. What school did you go to? Did you go to junior high or did you go straight to high school? Everybody now. We're all involved. We all know I went to Ridgewood Public School for elementary school, Lancaster, which was junior high, and then Morningstar, which was high school. So right now there are 2, right? One public and one Catholic school. There's Ascension, and then there's Lincoln, which used to be Westwood High School. We're catching everybody up. We went over the boundaries and the borders, right? Some people had to go to certain schools because they lived in certain places in Malton. That's the way it works. If you lived on one side of Malton, you had to go to one school. And if you lived on the other side, you had to go to the other school. So some people couldn't go to the high school they wanted. They had to go where they lived. TKN? I want to find out your name and address and where you live and where you went to school. This is your education, right? I want to hear who taught you now. This is the sense you have coming here. Yeah, you're going to tell me who taught you. We're in Malton. It's small. I told you. Why can't I do it? Well, let me hear. Which high school did you graduate from in Malton? Yeah, everybody. Go for it. The next time I see that skinny freak guy walking around the building and going to the next building, he's going to get surprised. I'm going to call the police on him one day. Tell them he's a drug dealer. You think I can see you out the window? Where do you actually think you guys live? Why don't they run around real quick and go over it again? Maybe they can stand in the visitor parking and watch my window. A Dylan and a Ryan and a TKN. Well, it must be a busy weekend, right? They must be all visiting friends. Well, do you all have a unit? I told you I'm going to get my money's worth now. You're coming here leaving garbage, drinking beer in the stairwell, smoking up in the... And then you're seeing me and calling me what? Time to pay, bro. Are you want to run up and see where 47 is now all at the same time? The door's still broken, right? Is there a reason the door's broken and I got to put up with that? Well, is it your mother's? Do they live here? They enable you? Can we separate that one then? How many of your mothers live here and enable you to come in and do whatever you want? How many of you drink here? How many of you smoke in your unit? How many of you smoke in the hallways and the stairwell? I saw a sign up that says somebody uses oxygen, don't smoke. Isn't that funny? Down the hall from here. I thought it was funny. Same, how long? 2 years almost I've lived here. I thought it was funny. It just showed up one day. Well, they're right in the building. All four of them every day. They're going to just look again. Every time they come to the trail, every time they come to the dumpster, right? I live here. Every dollar I paid in rent. They're doing what? You want to take over buildings and then you want to go live where? You want housing subsidy to go live where? And I told you, when I come to your house and destroy it, right? What are you going to do? Yeah, I want to hear this. You got homeless because you want to drink and do drugs, and then you want to go destroy other people's house, bring bugs into their house, and then you want to go get a subsidy and get your own house? I don't think so. How much was that amount I posted? I paid in rent. You're sitting here telling me I'm poor. Show me again. All of Malton. You're going to sit right here and find them one by one. I'm not going to turn to somebody else, remember? Every single unit until I get them evicted. They want to learn to live in a house. They had lots of practice, right? A year practice living in a house like people. They couldn't do it. Do you want to go over self-control when you're with a narcissistic mother, narcissistic parent? How much self-control you have to be around them? That's a good one for the victims. Let's go over that. How much self-control and patience you have to be around a narcissistic mother all day, all night, when you live in the same house. We can start at age. If you're a kid and you have to do it, put up with it, what your reaction is. How about a teenager? The parents never made it to tell? What about the adults? They're all in jail because the parents called the police on them? This is why Malton should stop thinking and talking, because one of these days it's going to come back on you and your parents. I think it's funny. Where do your brothers and sisters go to school? Not the same place? Malton? And where do you live? The parents. Where do the grandparents live? Not in Malton? So when they go to the library and they're at school, how do you think you're any different? They who? You understand, I started a business. I'm one person. Then Malton moms came along, a whole group of what? Then they wanted to use color and religion and race. And we're sitting here today, you're still attacking me for what? I want to hear for what? A bunch of what? Just sitting here doing nothing all day, bored, hanging out. That is what Malton is. It's a big pit where you hang out. You can't take anything seriously here because none of you are anything to take seriously. All you've done is destroy. You what? Okay, let's go over. What happened to the mall? Why is everything closed and gone? What happened to the library? Why does it keep closing and reopening? Why is nothing open there? What happened to the Walmart? Why is it closed and gone? There used to be a Longo's. There used to be a Starwind. Where'd they go? I want every one of you. Every single one of them that get childcare benefits, first of all, and their parents, to stop talking right now. Then everybody on ODSP in Ontario Works in Malton to close their mouth. Everybody who has a housing subsidy, right? Just close it and let's see how many people are left in Malton. Anybody who uses food bank, close your mouth. We're going to do a real quick count. Who's left? Let's go over your taxes. That's still the government. I don't know why. Let me hear why. All their kids. Today's Saturday, right? 3 o'clock, 3:30 in the afternoon. Do you understand that? You called the police and told them I'm recording your children. Do you understand what I should have done to you and your children? Yes? That was after Somebody called the police and said I have narcotics in my unit. The police came in, right? Do you people understand what you deserve? False police calls, somebody you don't even know. What do you think they should have done to you? What do you think the reality is if you call the police on somebody for no reason? What do you think they should do to you? Well, let's go over it. Can you drink in public? Is that legal? What about if you're intoxicated? Who has to put up with that? Public means not in your house, right? Around other people, public. We understand what that means? Okay, what about drugs now? Who has to put up with that if you're intoxicated in public? Well, how do you tell if somebody's has mental health issues? Is crazy, like you keep calling me crazy. Yes, everybody in Malton. I want you to help me understand this now. Yeah, everything that you see with your eyes. Yeah, we're going to clear it up today. Everywhere in Malton. We're going to go over the mall? Okay. Why is it different when you're standing there on the property of the mall smoking weed? Why is it when you're standing there drinking alcohol, urinating on the mall? Why are you different? You think that's good? That's the one public mall in Malton. That's what you think you should be doing? During the daytime? Where else do you think that's appropriate? The building you live in? The building I live in? Yeah, this is what Malton is? You think that's good? That's appropriate? That's normal life for civilized human beings? Why do you pay money for rent? Who would pay money and rent anywhere then? It doesn't make sense. I wouldn't. Then you put my safety in jeopardy because you have whatever coming in. I'm a female in an apartment renting, and anybody and anything come in here and do whatever, break all the locks whenever they want. I have actual medical issues, and they're sitting here showing me how they can do whatever they want, smoke right outside my door. You have a world somewhere here that's functioning? Because I don't see it. Let's go over again. How many people are homeless in Malton? That was this morning, that guy. So you explain to me again. Did you get his name? Where is his address? No, I'm not joking with any of you. You wanted to play homeless for 6 years and play with people's life? Not mine. How many of you drink alcohol? Every dollar. I'm poor, right? So I'm going to point it out now. Everybody who goes to the alcohol store, you're spending your money on alcohol. Let me hear now. I want to hear where you work, where you live. You're coming into the dumpster here. You are going to do it. You're getting free clothes and free shoes and free whatever from services, right? Maybe if you had to start paying, right? Too long. Way too long to be coming telling me I don't pay rent and I'm poor. There is nothing in Malton worth this. Yeah, we're going to find where they are. Like I said, not the building I live in, right? I'm going to make sure they're evicted. They can go back to the homeless shelter or they can rent a house somewhere. I'm in a bachelor apartment. Do you understand that? One person in a bachelor apartment? Well, you need to learn now. Oh, every single time this building, every time they circle, every visitor that comes in. You wanted what? I asked you if you had a different lease. Now you ask for everything you're getting. Half of them should be in jail. Half of them should be in rehab. What are they doing in the public streets? You want to tell me about your children again? I'm recording them. I'm going to make it worse every minute. I told you. You had what? They're going to look into their kids again. 19 is the legal age to smoke marijuana, right? All the vapes. You're talking about mental health and what it did to your head? We're going to look over your kids in 6 years and see. Alcohol first, right? The community center, all the events they had, all the services that held them, all the alcohol. Yeah, we're going to check the kids and see if they're addicts. Shouldn't be too hard. Everybody, I told you. All of Malton, join in. We're community now. You asked. You saw with your special eyes. So time for everybody to see the same special thing. Just take a good look. Every time you come to this building, every time you go to the mall, every time you go to the library, take a good look around you. These are the people you are. This is why you're homeless, right? Nobody wants you living near them. Look again. Just take a good look at you. What do you think you are? Why somebody wouldn't offer you? Off you. Go ahead. Let's go over it. How many units are in this building? Yeah, and building 2, right there. Building 2. Since it's a visitor parking. We're recording your children. Show us again. What, I can't hear you? I don't hear when you come here. I don't hear your kids. We don't hear the basketball. What time do you show up in the morning? What time do you show up under my window? What's the smell? How many units are under there? Yeah, everybody. Like I said, you want to come here and drink? That's my problem. They wanted to hire security, remember? Why don't we raise the rent to hire security here? Let's take a good look at the men again. Do you remember that store on Dairy? It was an adult store. What year do you think that opened? They're talking about female gadgets that females use to help themselves. Why they use them. And the men that are their boyfriends. Go ahead. What year did that store open on Dairy? I want to hear this. All their Halloween costumes, right? The Love Shop, is that what it's called? No? Oh, they're going to get reality now. Go ahead. Let me hear who worked in there. Your age. Tell them your age. You know they're going to go over every Halloween where they got their costume now. All the females. Yep, from the year the store opened. You're going to all go look it up now. What do they sell in that store now? Yeah, everybody in Malton. What do they sell in that store? Do you want to ask the mothers again with the babies? What they sell in that store? Do you want to ask the fathers with babies? What they sell in that store? I'll give you a minute to go look it up. The adult shops. No, you're going to find the date of the Malton one first. Yeah, it'll give you a sense of the community you still have. Well, let me hear how they opened that, whose idea it was. Let's go back to Roger's video and Jumbo video. Remember those video stores? That was normal, right? In the mall. How about Mr. Jerk? That was in the same plaza as that adult shop, right? What year did they open Mr. Jerk there? It used to be Max Milk, right? The Beckers. What was the donut store there? Baker's Dozen? Same dry cleaner, right? That's still there. The Hakim Optical. Do you remember that? The glasses place? Well, that's where the store is where I buy my reefer. So I'm sorry. I just have memories when I go there. It is funny. So let's go back to how many of you were cats and mice for Halloween? Do you remember that whole lingerie as a costume? We can't lie now, so go for it. Let's hear. Is that how you got your boyfriend, your husband, your children? You just hung out there? You just hung out by the Mr. Jerk? It was a community? That's the way things went? Which one? I heard it all. So I'm just reciting what Malden told me. When did that movie 50 Shades of Grey come out? Anybody know that? You remember that movie? We're talking about a lot of generations in Malton, right? Do you remember pay-per-view? What year did pay-per-view come out? Well, maybe it's the narcissistic mothers, the guilt and shame that the men and boys have with masturbation, why they're taking it out on me because they're women haters now that they've grown up and their mothers taught them to hate women. So they can't blame their mother, right? They have to blame all the women they date. So maybe that explains it, why they keep leaving comments like this. Could be something else, but I'm just going along with the narcissistic mothers, narcissistic sons. Your sons aren't your husbands. They like to keep them as their husbands, right? They don't want them to have a girlfriend, a wife. They need control. We can go over that one real quick since that's the point of the stream, but okay. Denial is also, a big topic. Sensitive, is it, to the mothers? Well, they shouldn't be here, right? This is not a live stream for narcissistic mothers. This is for the victims trying to get away from them and get their own life, right? Because they spent a lifetime under the control of their parents. This is for the victims trying to get away, who would like to be their individual self, their own person, because you were born an individual. Remember that? You weren't born with an umbilical cord attached. It was cut. They cut the cord when you were born. They cut the cord. They separated you. You're two people. Okay, let's pretend you know the word narcissist and you're already married and you know that the mother of your spouse is a narcissist. Do they like you? What is that? TRXVXR 2007. So what are you, 18? Not even 19 yet. Amy, why do you talk so much? Well, buddy, I'd like to meet your parents, and then I'll answer that for you. Do you want me to type it in so everybody can see it? Well, it's not the first time, so you guys are real familiar. Are you comfortable abusing women? Yeah, how many years? Just your phones? Social media? Did the school teach you? Or your parents? Since we're all being honest and molten. Oh, sure. I'm sure it's something clever. Oh, your parents live below me. Well, that's real good. Counting the months. They're going on 2 years. They must be real proud. Nice to meet you. If you live below me. That's a lot of apartments though, right? We went over this. I have 2 windows, so that's a lot of units down there below me. Do you remember every day when I take my shower, what you used to do to me? Every time you heard the water, you heard my water running, you heard noise. That's me. So nice to meet you. Apartment 47. Amy Seukeran, Narcissistic Abuse Recovery Life Coach, Canada. Yeah, I'm the one that sits on the rock to smoke. Back to which one? If you're a daughter, a son? Okay, my gang put some glue on that rock because we hate how bad your teeth stink. Isn't that nice? But I actually went and just threw a rock at their head. I'm going to jail. No, I want you to understand this. In English, try again. Did you hear what I just read? Now I want you to sit and look at me again. You have a house here. And when? I'm still in apartment 47, right? And when? When they drink and do drugs and they wake up the next morning, how many months now? You wake up like nothing, like a narcissist, right? They forget everything they did. You show them again. When? All the months. The snow shoveler, remember the path? All winter, what you did to me? With the snow? With the path on the rock? All of you, all of you. Show them again. When what? Did you ever watch the Gypsy Rose story? That was a narcissistic mother, right? Go over Munchausen syndrome. She kept her kid sick, and then her kid turned on her and offed her. Well, her and her boyfriend, technically. So that's how she got away. But if we go over Eminem's mother, his mother died recently. Did you know if she was a narcissist? Did you know what he went through? Did you know the abuse he went through? I posted, yeah. The girl from iCarly who wrote the book. Did you see what year she wrote that book? I've been doing this since 2019. She sat there and told you for how long about her narcissistic mother. And you're sitting here, what, in Malton? It's too small? You're too ignorant? You just use it for what benefit you want? Then what? I don't understand what you're all doing if these are the actual school boards and schools in Malton. Well, we see you've called the police falsely. I saw the effects of what you did, right? All the raids and whatever you were doing, demanding things from people for what? It's not like I wasn't here. I posted half of it. My mommy says you need a wellness check. Oh, I told you, I'm waiting. By name. To my face, right? We're going to meet your mommy sooner or later. There's only so many apartments in this building. They're talking about wellness checks, right? Make sure. Every single one of you, every unit. Every time I see an ambulance or a fire truck show up here, you are a joke. Yeah, the narcissistic mothers. The narcissistic fathers. Let's work on the mothers first. Since you have Malton moms as a group, can we, how many times, shut it down? So where do you think a group of women who worry about power, control, money, and fame, where do you think they fit in? In your children? Okay, let's go over if you're a son of a narcissistic mother. Did you suffer from financial abuse? Did they stop you from having money, from working, from going to school, going to college, university, from moving out? Did they always cook for you? Did they stop you from learning how to cook? Do they still cook for you? All ages. Do you still live with them or do you live in your own house? How many girlfriends have you had? Did they have a say in it? Did they pick them? Were they there? Did they meet them? Did you hide your girlfriend from your mother? Well, if you were a child or a teenager or a people pleaser, chances are, right, you had to get approval. So then if you got married, your mother would still be the priority, right? So your wife would know that. So for all the people who are in a relationship, married in one, yeah, intergenerational trauma. If you're trying to figure out your wife and husband and their parents, what's happening to your kids and grandkids? Who's helping them? If you're calling the police falsely, what do you expect the police to do if you're manipulating and using them? If accidentally they kill your kid? Well, you're just telling me your mommy said I need a wellness check, right? So what if I called and got your mommy off because I know how to do it? Would it be funny? What would happen if somebody actually overdosed here and they were lying outside in the parking? Would it still be funny? Would the kid be bouncing the basketball out there, waiting for the ambulance? I am asking. Seems to be what kind of building this is, so let's hear. Well, why do you call the ambulance? For a wellness check? Then why do the ambulances come here to the building? Yeah, for all the kids too. Sure, why not? Why does the fire truck come here? Why did the police come here that day and empty the whole building? The day I was sitting on the chair by the rock because you put the glue on it, since you mentioned it, so you know what I'm talking about. When you put the glue on the rock, I sat there with a chair, right? So go ahead, let's hear then, for all the kids that go to school that way. And the school bus, do you know where the school bus parks now? Under my window? Right in the corner? Yeah? As long as we're all on the same page, right? We all know what we're talking about. Well, I'm sure we can all tell the difference between the smell of Mary Jane, right? And something else? Like a skunk? Do we know the smell of a skunk? How about garbage? Do we know the smell of garbage? Do we know the smell of Mary Jane? Okay, what's a wellness check? How many of you know what that means? Well, since your mommy says you need a wellness check, we're going to ask your mommy. And your mommy's going to explain it to everyone what a wellness check is. Like I said, you have the library. That's a public library, a community center. You have PLASP on every corner. People, teachers, among teachers, babysitters. Somebody's going to do something because parents and kids don't have nothing to do with me. And you called the police saying I'm recording your kids. Somebody's going to own up to that. Yeah, we can go over Peel Children's Aid. What would happen if I called and got your kids taken? You'd come get revenge? But it's okay if you call the police on me and said I'm recording your kids? I don't know what you keep smiling and laughing at. I don't see any reason you should have kids if this is the way you treat them. Well, when did the family shelter open? What was the point of that? Yeah, the year. The Peel Family Shelter. How much money did you get for the Peel Family Shelter? So who went and stayed there? How many families were homeless? You can only get in if you have a kid. I was homeless, right? You call all of them. You can only get in there if you have a child. So what year did that one open? So who stayed there? How did you get in? How many rooms are there? How many families can stay there at the family shelter in Peel? Oh, just name them. Show me. You just have to make sure it's real and prove it. How long can you stay there at the family shelter? So what happens to your kids if there's a case with Children's Aid? If you're in a relationship or single? Wow. Malton's going to work on the word wellness check. They're going to work on mental health reality now. Yes, you're going to go back to all of the violence, guns and gangs, right? You wanted safety. You wanted a hub. The Jonathan Davis shooting. E-Jazz, that's the same building on Morningstar. Mental health. All of them. 2020 was supposed to be COVID. You were supposed to be inside. What were you doing? Having raids all over the place for what? Housing? Who was that? The Malton Women's Council? The Muslim Council? Then all the systemic racism. What school was that? What school board was that? Catholic or public? Peel School Board. Yeah. I'm going to end it here. Since it's Saturday, I'm sure the families have a lot to think about. 6 years minimum, right? If they were in school, if it was the school board in Malton, if it was the Malton moms, are you laughing at this? Who trained your children? Why they're racist? Why they're hateful? Why they're spiteful? Who has to put up with this? Why they have addictions? Why they have mental health issues, depression, anxiety? All of it, right? Me? This has something to do with me? Anyway, enjoy your night, everyone. Amy Seukeran, Narcissistic Abuse Recovery Life Coach, Canada.